Woo! Welcome to the Pride of Detroit podcast. Woo! It was WrestleMania. That's the only wrestling reference you're going to get. We've kind of excised most of them, but guess what? I'm going to give you some Ric Flair. Woo! To start this because it's draft season. It's draft season for the Detroit Lions on the Pride of Detroit PODcast. Yes, the dog next door is barking too. PrideOfDetroit.com, Pride of Detroit on Twitter, Pride of Detroit on Facebook, live as we speak on Twitch and YouTube. But still download the podcast from iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitch, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And that dog is really annoying me. It's very unprofessional. I love living in a small apartment.
We're not on Yard Barker yet, but I think the dog wants it.
He's asking for it, Jeremy. He's asking to be on Yard Barker. We need to expand this empire. The most reviewed Pride of Detroit, the most reviewed Lions podcast out there is the Pride of Detroit PODcast. Yes, thank you. I hate that dog so much. He doesn't stop, like, at all hours of I am Chris Perfett, the adequate host, at Chris Perfett, PERFETT, being surrounded by a barking dog and taking care of a sick cat. And that man, that other voice you hear, is the fearless mustache, Jeremy Reisman, editor-in-chief of Pride of Detroit, joining me. Hello, Jeremy.
How you doing, Chris?
Very tired. Working triple time, as it were. And the third man, because we're not done with the wrestling themes, the third man is Ryan Matthews. At Ryan_POD. Ryan, what's up, buddy?
I am the barking dog.
You are the barking dog?
Yes.
You are the dog that barks.
I am the dog that barks.
Is that a mix between Breaking Bad and Fight Club?
It's everything you want it to be.
All right.
Oh my God. It's we're starting in a really odd place, which is how you know it's draft season here. I was gone last week and I saw Jeremy was doing free agency talk. He was clinging to free agencies, like, please, I don't want to talk about the draft, please. And as soon as I saw that, I came right back, grabbed him, and just yanked his feet right off the ledge. It's like, no, it's draft season. Let's talk more draft, Jeremy.
Fine. I will quit the kicking and screaming and commence the pouting over.
Barking.
Yeah,
we'll commence the barking.
Oh, the barking. Let's go with that.
The barking over the draft. So on the show today, we have 3 trade scenarios for you. And I feel like also we need to expand our horizons a little bit. We've been doing these mock drafts. We've been having fun with the community, but we've also talked a lot of names at 7, but there's been a lot of rising names, right? Like, this is the time of year where all sorts of names rise, and all of a sudden you have a lot of different names. So what we're going to do on this podcast is, first off, we're going to talk about some names we probably haven't so far. And then we're going to start doing some scenarios we could see happening in the draft. And what I mean by that is we're going to talk a little bit more on standing pat at 7. I feel like we've talked a lot of 7, but again, the new names are going to change things. And then we're going to talk about trading down into kind of the mid to early teens. And then talking about if the Lions then trade down to like the back third of the draft. So we've got a lot of different scenarios, and all are on the table, Jeremy. All are on the table. Like, we've talked enough about, the kind of power the 7th pick carries to be kind of the linchpin on, if Justin Fields is still there for a team that really wants him, or you get your pick of the litter of whoever's still there, of Pitts, Chase, Sewell. Like, there's a lot of options at 7 that can make it tempting for trades. Yeah,
and in fact, there are so many different scenarios that can play out on draft night that I don't know how to prepare for it. Me and Eric Schlitt were talking about it today in terms of just trying to get ready for the draft. And a lot of times what you'll see is writers pre-write. They'll pre-write who they think is going to get drafted by the team. And then Eric and I were just starting to write out some candidates just to see how many we would have to do. And not even factoring in any trades, our list was at 9 of realistic guys that could be there at 7 that the Lions could take. And it's kind of just a reaction for how many different things can happen in front of them, how many needs this team currently has, and how much talent there really is in the top 10 that I think would be worthy of that 7th overall pick. So, it's kind of unprecedented. Maybe not unprecedented, but it's a unique year for Lions fans for having a top 10 pick, yet having so many different scenarios that can play out that I think are all quite realistic.
Yeah, it's Ryan. Like, man, it's some crazy stuff looking at this draft. Like, we're already talking about a historic draft where people are saying it could go 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks. There's only been one time where it's been 1, 2, 3 for quarterbacks. That was 99 with Tim Couch, Donovan McNabb, and Achilles Smith. And I think that just throws so many of the pieces into the mix. And I think there's like at least 5 quarterbacks that people are hungry for at the start of this draft. So it just, yeah, as Jeremy said, the possibilities are open up all over the place.
Yeah, and I think it really hinges on what the Atlanta Falcons decide to do. Because for as many options as the Lions have at 7, the Atlanta Falcons have an infinite amount of possibilities in front of them. They can go quarterback because they're in a pretty similar situation to where the Lions were pre-trade with Jared Goff. It's almost like Matt Ryan's nearing the end of his career. They could go quarterback. They could add another skill position player really easily. Kyle Pitts would be a huge fit. An offensive tackle would be a huge fit. The Falcons have tons of needs. They're just like the Lions. So it really seems like the draft starts at 4. And then all of a sudden, then we can be informed of what might happen with the Lions at 7, depending on what Atlanta does at 4. But it's interesting. I venture to guess that this draft class of quarterbacks will live up to the hype a little bit better than 99's class.
Yeah,
just a hunch.
You know what? I wonder about that because I think there's so many questions about what exactly Zach Wilson is that I'm not as locked in as him being the number 2 quarterback as maybe other people are. And we could still see the Jets swerve because they're the Jets. So I mean, might even be better for them. I have no clue when it comes to Zach Wilson. I have no clue when it comes to Mac Jones or Justin Fields. They're both guys with or Trey Lance for that matter. There's so many questions around those quarterbacks that it leaves a lot to be desired. Now we here at Pride Detroit have talked about, maybe Justin Fields at 7, but I guess before we get into the scenarios and some of the new names, maybe we should talk about the one scenario we're not going to talk too much on, which is there's no chance the Lions trade up, right?
Personally, I don't think so. I don't think the Lions are in a place to be spending draft capital to do that. We keep talking about amassing all these draft picks to restart a rebuild. I think a real poor way to kick that off would be to trade up unless they are sold on a quarterback and they want to kick off the rebuild that way. But I think everything that we've seen and heard from this front office and what they've done with Jared Goff and the restructure and all that thing, it really points to me that quarterback isn't necessarily going to be a priority in this draft unless one falls them to 7. I don't see them getting aggressive to get a quarterback this year. And if that's the case, I don't think there's anyone personally that's such a unique talent that they have to trade up to get.
Yeah, the one thing I want to ask you, Jeremy, is don't you think it would run contradictory to itself if the Lions, they obviously did the trade to move Stafford to get Jared Goff and additional draft capital? Wouldn't it have made much more sense to accept like a Carolina offer if they were that interested in getting a quarterback this year and potentially moving up and kind of accelerating the rebuild in terms of, getting a new franchise quarterback? It seems like those trades lend themselves better to picking a quarterback in this draft.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's less of an investment at the quarterback position now so that you could invest in it later. Instead, the Lions chose to go Jared Goff, which is a significant investment now and next year. And, you don't get as high of a draft pick in return in terms of 9 versus, 2 first rounds and a third or, whatever. You can do the math on that. But yeah, I think you're right. I think if the Lions were that dead set on getting a quarterback, maybe getting more of one that's a clear bridge in a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, no pun intended, rather than Jared Goff, who I think is a guy that they think has more than starting potential.
Yeah, I don't really see it unless, like, again, with so many quarterbacks on the boards too, you could see one, if it's the right one, falling to you at 7 as well. So, but I agree that it kind of goes against the strategy right now. There's some new names. I don't think we talked at all about Rashawn Slater. on this pod. We've only talked Sewell when it comes to linemen, but I know SB Nation just put out their mock a couple days ago where Slater is the Detroit Lions pick. And it's a mock draft, sure, but I don't think a lot of Lions fans were looking at that. But I think, Jeremy, it opens up the idea that there's more than just the few names we've harped in on Pitts, Chase, Sewell.
Yeah, and I think this is a pretty realistic scenario. And in fact, Good Morning Football did like a speed mock, like a speed chess kind of thing, and Rashawn Slater was a Lions pick. And I think the reason the board fell like that is because of a very realistic scenario. You have your 3 quarterbacks go in those first 3 picks. Then you have the Falcons take Kyle Pitts, certainly a realistic thing. You have the Bengals then take Penei Sewell, got to protect your quarterback, and a guy who got injured last year. Then the Dolphins take Jamar Chase. Well, in that case, 2 of the top pass catchers are gone, 3 of the top quarterbacks are gone, and the top offensive tackle is gone. So it's kind of I would consider this like a worst case scenario for the Lions, which again, I'm putting that in quotes for people that aren't watching live because it's not a bad scenario. You still have Jalen Waddle, you still have Devontae Smith, you still have Rashawn Slater, but I think those are probably your 3 top options if you're not going quarterback. And so you're right. I think most of us have just kind of assumed, well, wide receiver is a big need. Waddle is a top 5 potential talent in this draft, so go get him. But I think Slater has some value here. And Ryan, I know we've talked a little bit about Slater, and I know you're in favor of him. Is 7 too early for him, though?
I don't think 7 is too early for Slater, simply because he is one of the top offensive linemen in this draft class. And I think what is really interesting about him is his versatility. So, I mean, you talk about Sewell and you talk about playing him on the right side, and that's fine. And you talk about, eventually maybe moving him over to the left side to eventually take over for Taylor Decker. Well, what if Vaitai isn't necessarily that guy at right guard? What if the Lions want to move on from him? You can plug in Slater to play guard and he will be an elite talent immediately. The question with Slater is whether or not a team is going to give him a shot to be a tackle. I think a team will. Yeah. Just because he doesn't have the measurables that most offensive tackles typically do because he's 6'4", so he's a little bit smaller.
Short arms.
But right, yeah, and short arms. But I mean, the guy, he more than makes up for it with his lower half. Like his footwork, his base, everything is very, very clean about Rashawn Slater. I'm very much in favor of taking Slater at 7. I'm even coming more around on the idea of going offensive line than taking a receiver at 7, because I think that through our mock drafts that we've done on Thursdays and things like that, the wide receivers are still there at 41.
Yeah.
So I think that getting a top tackle, getting either Slater or Sewell, whatever flavor of ice cream you like, I'm cool with it. But I really think prioritizing this offensive line and turning it into an elite unit is something that's really going to benefit Jared Goff.
The one other thing I want to say about Slater, and it's that guard thing, right? A lot of people are projecting him to potentially be a guard in the NFL. And if that's the case, well, then you're talking about, obviously, if the Lions take him at 7, I don't think that's their plan for him. But if some teams' plans are to play this guy at guard, is that worth a 7th overall pick, a guard?
Well,
we've seen interior before. I mean, what was Frank
Ragnow was 20. That was
yeah, he was
deep.
20. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but you look at a guy like Quentin Nelson.
Yeah.
Right? And
yeah.
I'm not saying that Rashawn Slater is Quentin Nelson, but I am saying that when you look at PFF's draft guide, his NFL comparison is Marshall Yanda, and that's one of the greatest guards of all time.
True.
I mean, not saying that he's going to be Yanda, but this is the awesome thing about Slater, is that he can play anywhere. He can play anywhere along the offensive line. So, you need a plug and play somewhere because of injury, because of whatever. Slater's that guy. I'm a big fan of him.
I totally echo everything you guys say as far as like you want to prioritize your offensive line. Something I maybe I'm doing knee-jerk stuff watching, Tampa Bay this year, but we've seen enough teams across the league who have prioritized their offensive line, be it the Cowboys from a few years ago, be it the Tennessee Titans, be it the San Francisco 49ers, where they may not have the best quarterback and their receivers might be whatever, and maybe they've got like one good threat either as a running back or a tight end, but they've invested in their offensive line. It's good. And again, as I said it before on another podcast, they can do whatever they want. Like you just, when you have a good offensive line, you can go whatever style you want for your offense. It doesn't matter. Because no matter what offense, if you want to do run first or if you want to pass, then great. You want to go up tempo, great. All of those things need a great offensive line. All of those things benefit from it. It's the safe pick.
And if you get one now, you're suddenly set up for the next 3-4 years at 4 out of 5 of those spots.
Jackson, Decker, Ragnow, either Slater or Sewell. Yeah, absolutely. Can I talk one more position? Because I just want to see how you guys feel on it. And again, I know we're coming off doing Okuda. I had mentioned Caleb Fairley on some realistic ideas. That was before we got too much details out of Fairley's back injury back surgery. And he's basically crashed down pretty low on the boards now, but in his place have risen up. I've seen 2 names kind of coming around, and I think now the CB1 for everyone is Patrick Surtain out of Alabama. And not far behind him is another SEC corner, J.C. Horn. Do you guys have any interest at all seeing another DB being taken high in the draft for the Detroit Lions? I'm
not against it. Surtain is an immense talent. I think he's going to be great in this league. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He's done it against good competition. I guess there is a question about whether the value is there at 7. I think a lot of people view him more in the low teens, but to me that's a little nitpicky. If you're willing to take Patrick Surtain at 12, let's say,
I've seen him at 9 for the Broncos in some mocks.
Yeah, but I mean, like the difference between that, like, is that like yes, of course, ideally you trade back and you still get him, but it doesn't work like that. Like, there's not always a trade down option. So if you like this guy a lot and you take him at 7 instead of 12, like that's not a disaster by any sort of means. So I don't know if he's worth the 7th overall pick, but I'm open to it. I'm open to a lot of things, given that the Lions have so many needs. And I certainly think cornerback is a need in terms of the long term. I'm not burying Jeff Okudah at this point. I think he's definitely got plenty of potential. You need at least 2, and they don't necessarily they don't have anyone for sure in the future. I think they will have Okudah. Oruwariye is the other pick, and I don't think we need to hear another podcast of me doubting Oruwariye's future, but I do.
Yeah. And I think someone in our Twitch chat just pointed this out too, but like J.C. Horn, from people I've talked to, J.C. Horn is not far behind Surtain. I don't want to bury Horn at all, but maybe that's something we talk about when we talk some of our trade back scenarios, because if you're just trading back to the teams, maybe one of those 2 guys is there. But I think that's, to your point, Jeremy, about the value at 7. Brian, go ahead. I know you got a point here.
Well, I think you take a look at what the Lions did last year. They drafted Okudah at 3. I don't think that necessarily takes cornerback off the board at 7, because if the board falls that way and your top player available is a cornerback, you take him. It'll just be an interesting choice from the standpoint that the Lions seemingly have their top 2 corners set with Oruwariye and Jeff Okudah, and we saw how difficult a transition it is for cornerbacks in their first year to play. So that cornerback, whoever you take, whether it's Horn or Surtain or Asante Samuel, even later in the draft, like there's a ceiling that it's going to be tough for that guy to find a lot of playing time. Sure. Just because you went out and you got Cornell there, and there's some veterans that'll be playing ahead of them. And I'm not saying that those players won't eventually surpass those players. They might. I mean, if you draft a guy like Surtain or you draft a guy like Horn, maybe by midway through the season, all the way through the season, there's an opportunity that those guys usurp them at the top of the depth chart. But it would just seem like a strange pick in terms of getting immediate production from a guy at 7.
That's fair.
All right. We got a few minutes here, so let's real quick get to our first scenario, and that is what we've been talking about for a few weeks now, standing pat at 7. I'm not going to devote a ton of time to it because I feel like we've beaten 7 to death, but with any new information here, how are you looking at the 7th overall pick right now, Jeremy? What scenarios are you seeing as we enter these new names like Surtain and Slater into the mix?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's still so wide open that I don't know where to go. I'll list the 9 guys that we kind of labeled as realistic picks for the Lions with the 7th overall pick: Justin Fields, Trey Lance. Those are, I think, maybe the two. I'm not even putting Mac Jones on the list. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
Okay. Okay.
If you want to make it an even 10, throw him in there as well. We're just not clear where those 3 out of the 5 quarterbacks are going. Jamar Chase, unlikely he falls to the lines, but certainly a chance. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Kyle Pitts, Penei Sewell, Rashawn Slater, Micah Parsons. Those are my 9/10 of realistic options. Is there one that maybe I'm missing? Or maybe that you don't even agree it belongs on the list?
Micah Parsons, but I think I might be injecting some personal matters into that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Micah Parsons fall. It feels like, I mean, just like flashback to 2 months ago, where everyone was talking about Micah Parsons as the best defensive player in the draft, as a very high potential pick for the Lions with the 7th overall pick. Where has that hype train gone? And what?
No,
that might not be anything. That might just be, I mean, the media is the media, right? Like it doesn't necessarily reflect reality. But I do feel like there's been a lot of wind out of those sails, and whether it's off the field issues or there's certainly on field questions to his game as well. I feel like he's fallen out of the discussion almost completely.
Yeah, I think between the fact that he's off ball, and again, I can't overlook character issues has been like the flashpoint word of this draft, and they seem to be applying to everyone. And I was talking with someone how much I hate the term character issue because it's so flattening. That rumors of Justin Fields not being the first guy to a tape session is a character issue, which allows it to be in the same category as Micah Parsons simulating sexual assault on someone allegedly. Like, character issues is a terrible word, and I think it's muddy the conversation, but I mean, Micah Parsons benefits from that muddying. So
I think the 9 names that you listed off, Jeremy, are pretty accurate in terms of one of those guys is going to be there, right?
Yeah.
Now, personally, I've come around to this idea that, and everybody knows that I am Kyle Pitts' #1 fan, and that cannot be disputed. With that being said, I'm starting to look at this #7 pick interestingly in a very similar way as Bob Quinn in his very first draft when he took Taylor Decker. There were some other options that were available to Bob Quinn, but he took a very high floor player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it would be a safe pick, and it would also be almost the right pick. Do you know what I mean? Like taking an offensive lineman, whether it's Slater or it's Sewell, that really sets up your offensive line for success. With Decker under contract, you know they're going to pay Frank Ragnow. He's not going to go anywhere. You got Jonah Jackson on a rookie deal. You plug in Sewell or Slater, you're setting up Jared Goff or whatever quarterback you want to plug in there over the next 3-4 years for success, because he's gotten. Yes. I'll say it right now. You put Sewell or Slater on that offensive line, Lions have a top 5 offensive line in the NFL.
I mean, just look at Burrow, like how Burrow is struggling without an offensive line right now in Cincinnati. That's not going to happen in Detroit if you invest in that offensive line, period.
And let's not discount the fact that they got a guy like TJ Hawkinson and Josh Hill. Like those guys are both competent blockers too. I mean, you are doing yourself a great service by establishing, and it's not one of those dumb things where it's like build from the trenches, because we know the NFL has changed over time. That's why we're entertaining the idea of guys like Surtain or even wide receivers. We're talking about guys who play outside the boundaries because that's where the NFL lives nowadays. But it seems like it is such a safe pick, and I don't want to say that in a derogatory sense, like it's a bad pick.
It has a high ceiling. It has a high return on investment, and the risk of it bombing out is not great either. Like, I mean, when I say not great, it's not like it's going to be a flop completely.
Like it's not similar in the sense to when the Rams took Greg Robinson. Like I think Greg Robinson was a little bit more of a project. Like Sewell and Slater, these guys have some tape out there that makes them look very, very good.
They're ready to go right now.
It's interesting. We're nearing a kind of debate that Bengals fans are already going through. And Robert Mays had a really interesting article on this on The Athletic. It's offensive line or wide receiver. Do you get your weapon, or do you get an offensive line so that your quarterback can hit whatever weapon? And if you read the article, it certainly seems to slant towards offensive line because one, offensive linemen hit more in the first round. They're more likely to stick around with your team in terms of for their entire rookie contract. Wide receivers, you tend to be able to get some good ones in all drafts, really. Like if you look at the history of the wide receivers, the top ones that go are rarely the best. And you get a guy like Kenny Golladay in the third round. You can also get wide receivers in free agency. I don't think I need to point to any offseason other than the one we're currently in, where you can get a lot of really good wide receivers in free agency. How often can you get a top-tier left tackle or a top-tier right tackle in free agency?
Yeah, usually if they're in free agency like that, usually they have some flaws or they've got some injury history.
Right.
But yeah, good teams hold on to their. I mean, good teams. I have to exclude the Raiders from this conversation here for a second. But good teams hold on to their best offensive linemen because they know, like all those examples I gave earlier, Cowboys, 49ers, Titans. Those aren't, to Ryan's point, those aren't like, we're not being Neanderthals here. Those are all recent examples of teams that have prioritized their offensive line and found success no matter what they are doing on offense. Like Kyle Shanahan's system, Derrick Henry in Tennessee, what, the Cowboys were doing with Zeke and Dak, like all three completely different systems. All three found success.
Yeah. And the last point I want to make on the wide receiver offensive line thing is with wide receivers, you can replace, let's say you don't have a big number one guy. Well, if you have a running back who can catch out of the backfield, you have a tight end who can catch, out of line, you can replace that production with other players. How can you replace the production of a crappy right tackle? You get a tight end to come in and chip, I guess, maybe? The answer is you really can't.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, I feel like now we can start talking about the more fun scenarios. Jeremy, at least, this is my soothe to Jeremy. Jeremy doesn't like the draft, but he does when I say the words trade down. It's like a Pavlovian response. Yeah. He is leaning back in his chair. His
foaming
arms
at the mouth.
His arms are reaching to the sky. The mustache is twirling on his lip. So we're going to take a break. Let Jeremy calm down. When we come back, it's trade down time to talk on the Pride of Detroit PODcast. Let's talk about you guys with a goddamn hype train off the top.
Yeah, let me pull up the alerts. They
want to know how close they are to the stash.
Okay, let's see. Let me catch up.
Lefty Detroit dropped a 25 bomb.
He did indeed drop a 25 bomb. So Lefty Detroit,
renewed my sub as well.
Freaking legend. All right. Jetty F Baby came in with gifting a sub right off the bat. Then our buddy, the Respected Madman, sub for 12 months. He's been here a full year. Give it up for the Respected Madman. Then Lefty dropped the 25 bomb. Unbelievable. Slow clap for Lefty.
Woo!
Then D-Man subs for 4 months. Katie dropped 200 bits. The Twerkin Gecko used his Twitch Prime for 4 months. Jetty F Baby gave out another sub. LJ sub for 17 months. Then we had Mathis sub for 4 months. And XLJ featured with 2 months. Add it all up. Let me do that really quick here. We got 1, 2, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. And by the way, I completely missed this.
One-third the way, and we're one-third the way through the podcast.
Yes. LJ, by the way, his 17 months, tier 3. Tier 3, which means I need to get off my ass and get you a tier 3 emote. LJ, you get a request. Whatever you want. Oh, you did request a Mozzarella Stick shirt. Good point.
Yeah, I did see that, and I also saw a request for a Zazu cameo as well.
So LJ, if you're around, you are around. I see you right now. Request an emote. I'll make it. I'll have it made.
By the way, LJ, I'm going to give you a now that we're getting tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, I will give you guys special colored names on our Discord, which you can join our Discord as we get closer to the draft. It's heating up, guys. The Discord is like starting to get excited again. There's a lot of talk, a lot of going over tape, a lot of armchair GM stuff. If you haven't joined the Discord, I'm hitting it right now in the Twitch chat. You can hit an ! Discord, join Discord. What is Discord? It's like a chat room with plenty of stuff. It's a lot of goodies. Like, please join our Discord. Join us. It's Pride of Detroit 24/7 and you can be with us. And this week, I'm going to overhaul the Discord quite a bit. I'm adding some new stuff so we can go to a community-style Discord. It means we get some new cool features over there, but it also means that we're just going to keep kicking ass right up until the draft. And I've already talked with some of the people on Discord. I'm going to increase our voice chat rooms. So while we are doing our live podcast, if you guys want to join Discord and have voice chat with other fans, we will have plenty of rooms for you during the draft. So if you want to have your own virtual hangout, join the freaking Discord.
How do I join Discord? ! Discord. There it is. That link right there. All you have to do is click on it. You can download Discord if you want, or you can use the...
Download the app. Please make sure you verify your email if you're new to Discord, because I made an announcement a few weeks back and I've been busy, but we are moving to community, which means you do need to verify your email with Discord before you do that. How do you get into VIP voice chat? Man, I might just have to create a voice chat just for like Twitch subscribers themselves.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Flair 149, thank you for the tier 2 6 months in advance. Wow. That's insane. Thank you for that, Flair. Appreciate that. Paying for 6 months in advance. That's insane. Let me get to some of these requests really quick. First, Izzy, I don't know if you're aware. I don't know if everyone's aware. We now have 2 mozzarella sticks t-shirts that you can choose from.
They're growing. They're multiplying.
Thanks to my sister who recently bought this one.
Oh my god.
So we can do that one, or we can do the old school one, which is I'm here for the mozzarella sticks shirt. That has not been washed in some time, so that's like an extra level of punishment if you want me to wear that one. So Izzy, if you're in the stream, let me know. We also had $5 from Apex Predator, our super chatter over there on YouTube. He says, I've been loyal to YouTube, but I'm going to have to switch to Twitch with these damn trolls on YouTube. Sorry, bud. We don't have any Twitch or YouTube moderators. And, you know how everyone knows how YouTube is. We love our YouTube watchers. But.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Apex. I know Apex has been good on our YouTube. I really apologize. I mean, we need to get on to YouTube a little bit more. It's just kind of, super chat being what it is.
And then we got another. Okay, we got 2 more.
Zazu and Goose cameos.
Mike Kling with the 2 months now subscribed, and then BXR Burstfire with his first welcome. You're a new subscriber. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you subscribing. Now we're to 36. Past the third way mark.
By the way, don't request a Ruby cameo. I'm not picking him up. He came back from the vet last. Oh, sorry, Lions. Wow. As soon as I say that, you requested. He's behind me. He had to go to the vet yesterday. He's having some issues, so I'm not going to cause him undue stress. We need to let Ruby rest. He had a medical emergency, so he's resting right now. Let's see here. Conrad66, are you guys going to mention the horrible trade offer the Broncos put up for Zazu ASMR? If you ever shave the mustache, that might be where we need to go for our next revenue stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I take an IOU, Lions. Wow, I will give it to you next stream. I don't want to pick him up right now. He had like a urinary blockage, so he's doing all right. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Lefty, what are you
Conrad,
doing?
I want to get to your topic, but holy crap, Lefty, where do you get this money?
Lefty just dropped another 10. Oh my god, he ruined my green screen.
Lefty, can you be my uncle? Can I get money from you for Christmas or something? Oh my god, he's still giving them out.
Another 5. Oh god.
You guys are insane. I love all of you. You guys are all insane.
The immersion. I'm not actually at Ford Field, guys.
Jeremy's going back to Ford Field.
Yeah, hopefully I'm going to get some light fixtures later this week or next. So I'm hoping before the draft to be back in my in Howard Ratner's jewelry shop.
Jeremy,
yeah, go on.
I have to ask Jeremy a question real
What's
quick.
up?
Are you getting the distinguished Reed Richards look?
I don't know who that is.
God.
Do I need to do
Fantastic Four? I know, it's kind of...
How did you think that was going to reach me?
You getting a little
the little grays? You see little
gray
grays
over there?
You see little grays?
Hey, if you're in the chat, let me know. Jeremy's got the Reed Richards lick going on.
Okay, we're up to 2 questions now, so I do want to get to them. Conrad66 asked us earlier, are you guys going to mention the horrible trade offer the Broncos put up for Stafford? So it was 9 and a second, I believe.
No, they wanted 9 for Stafford and a second. Yeah, so the Lions don't even get an extra pick. They just swap their second and turn it into a first-round pick, a top 10 pick. But yeah,
okay, I read that wrong. That sounded like
it's a garbage trade.
That's worse than I thought. What the hell?
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. The Lions apparently tried to counteroffer, and they're like, okay, well, how about you give us a quarterback?
Give us a crap.
That's the thing. Like, the Lions really wanted a quarterback, and so they're like, okay, you got to give us Drew Lock first of all, included in there. You also have to give us a third in return because we need extra picks. We don't need upgraded picks. We need extra picks. And then apparently they also asked for another player that we don't know.
Yeah, I had heard that too, that they wanted like Lock plus another, because like there's a lot of good young players with the Broncos. It's just they haven't figured out their quarterback position, and they don't know if Drew Lock is it. Von Miller? No, it's probably not Von Miller. It's probably a lot younger.
Maybe though. I mean, the Lions struck and tried to get Aaron Donald from the Rams. So, I don't know.
I mean, Aaron Donald's going to keep playing in this league for another like 8 years. So.
Also, before I forget, I don't want to let these 2 YouTube donations go unseen. Detroit Blue Jay dropped $4.99, and then Brendan Walsh donated, super chatted, I should say, 99 cents. Appreciate both of you. Appreciate everyone on YouTube. I'm sorry about the trolls. I'm sorry if it sometimes seems like we're talking more to Twitch than we are you. We appreciate both of y'all. Now I'm going to go put on the shirt. You guys talk.
Wisco Lion fans, should we call Jeremy Mustache-tron?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. It has a little bit of a ring to it.
I've been calling him the Fearless Mustache, from Fearless Leader.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Here's one for you, because I like weird football. You know me. Math1JS asked us, have you guys ever watched NFL Europe back in the day, plus ever been to Europe? Beard and Blevins also subscribing for 11 months, which he says 11 months is on the low end of the Lions win this year.
The only real memory I have of NFL Europe is like Madden 2003 and me like scrolling through rosters and being like, what the hell is this? Like,
I think I did see, I think I was in, I don't remember where, it was a sports bar somewhere, but for whatever reason they had on,
oh my goodness gracious,
All J Burruff with the 25 tier 1 gifted subs.
And right before that, by the way, our good friend Bearded Blevins stopped by.
I just said that.
Oh, you didn't say
while
you
were putting on the show.
John, love you, buddy. 11 months.
I don't remember what sports bar I was, but it was in Toledo, and for whatever reason, I saw highlights from the Barcelona Dragons. So that's my experience. But I know that NFL Europe, like, they're going back to mainland Europe. They're talking about like going to Germany, which is fantastic. Football in Germany has been there since like at least the 70s. And you're starting to see some guys coming out of GFL. Like, there's been football across the continent. So NFL Europe was a big reason for it. And you hear a lot from guys who played in NFL Europe who like they got their second chance in the NFL because they could keep playing ball over in Europe.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. It seems like the NFL wants to expand that way again.
Yeah. I just don't think they want to own another league. They were maybe they were hoping the XFL would kind of catch on. And unfortunately, I think it COVID just murdered it. It wasn't like an AAF. It wasn't like an AAF scenario where like you had crappy owners and nobody could pay. Like the XFL was healthy. It had the proper investments for the first year. They just hit the brick wall that was COVID-19, which nobody prepared for. And to the second part of Mathis, ever been to Europe? I've been to England, and I really want to go to the mainland sometime.
Israel, baby, where my birthrighters at?
I said Europe.
What? Israel's Europe? It's not Asia, is it? Middle East? I don't know.
Middle East. Wow.
What?
Okay.
Everyone relax.
I've been to Punta Cana. It's basically
Yes, we have the video evidence of you being to Punta Cana. By the way, for those who know that, if you ever watch a Yankees game this year in Yankee Stadium, behind the ads behind home plate are for Presidente beer.
Great.
That's for our like very devoted fans. I mean, this podcast is almost 6 years old, guys.
It's going on 6 years. When we hit August, it will be 6 years.
This podcast is like a whole first grader. That's insane.
I have had this podcast longer than literally any other job I've ever held down.
I've had this podcast longer than any relationship I've ever been in.
Oh my
Mine's
God.
not even close.
I'm sorry, because now I just remembered that Punta Cana episode involves.
Hey, now wait a second.
You know what? Hey,
but come on, you gave us the line. Look, here's nachos.
Yeah, best wishes to her. She's awesome. She's living her best life in Arizona. If she had the opportunity to take me back to Punta Cana, she definitely would. I know she had a great time because of me.
Like, you got to ask that to your new relation. It's like, you want to go to Punta Cana? Try to win $537 on an NBA parlay.
I hit it, baby. First night there, it was magic.
I'm curious, how many people in the live chat know what the Punta Cana episode is? Remember the Punta Cana episode?
You can search Pride of Detroit Punta Cana, and it's the first thing that hits.
Also, by the way, Apex Predator has officially moved over to Twitch and subbed already. Appreciate it, my man.
Mathis, if you guys ever make it to the Netherlands, hit me up. Absolutely, man. I've wanted to go to the Netherlands. I've wanted to travel. Like, being locked up from COVID really hits hard. Like, the first thing I want to do is hit Japan, though, because I'm not a weeb, but I like all things Japan. But then Europe's not far behind. I've looked at some jobs. I would love to move to like Berlin or something too. Like red light district. Here we come. You guys are psychopaths. I love it.
By the way, I wanna say one last thing before we get back into it. This was my
oh my God.
This is the perfect time to talk about this, because Detroit just dropped 25 gifted subs, which means the stash is officially saved before we even get into our second podcast segment. My mom is visiting me this week. She hasn't seen me in over a year because of COVID. This was my one opportunity to look normal for her, and you guys ruined it.
You got that's fine. No, the mustache looks fine. By the way, Jeremy, we got to talk about what a villain Jeremy is, freaking out everyone on Twitter, thinking that you shaved that over the week.
I love that.
You bastard.
I did buy a shaving kit though. That part was actually real.
I want to know what Mama Reisman's reaction to the stash is.
Should I live stream it? She's not here yet. She's coming Wednesday.
Put it on the gram. Yeah.
By the way, we got some fun stuff lined up for Wednesday. I'm going to make you guys stick around until after the show to tell you, but I believe we're going to have 2 shows on Wednesday, most likely.
We're doing a double header. I won't be able to make the second one, but I'll make the first. Yeah. We got some big names to talk about. But speaking of big names, we should probably get back into the draft episode.
We were doing a podcast at some point, weren't we?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize to Ryan, especially because he's got.
No, that's fine. I mean, that train got derailed because we were hyping it up over here on Twitch. So
appreciate all the support, though, guys.
We do this for the people. Yes. We do this for the people.
That also, by the way, pushed us over 300 subs again. So appreciate y'all.
By the way, just one last note before we get back into it. I was buying some new games on Steam today. I accidentally bought Mutant League Football. So something tells me in the off season that might be coming to the Pride of Detroit Twitch stream. Or maybe definitely to my own Twitch stream.
Yeah, there you go.
At some point. But I feel like because there is Motor City Maniacs in the game, so I can play as Detroit.
Love it. MC M.
Yeah. But like when they made the new Mutant League Football, they were mocking like there's like bomb something, like Tom Brady's in there as a skeleton and he has a shotgun. Julian Dedelman, I think, is in there.
Oh, too soon.
Oh, the Julian
soon-
Edelman, the Julian Edelman discourse on Twitter right now is just driving me nuts.
What, you mean soon to be Hall of Famer, Julian Edelman?
One of the
No,
craziest takes I've ever heard in my life that I keep hearing at my work. One of the guys I work with, Andy Furman, I love him to death. He has the weirdest bleeping takes in the world. And he kept saying, hey, if the Patriots need quarterback so much, they should try Julian Edelman out at quarterback because he played in high school.
No, LJ. LJ, no, he's not going to be a Buccaneer. He posted a retirement video. He's retired.
He's done.
He hung him
Hey,
up.
What's the other discourse?
Gronk retired too.
All right.
Hey, I'm just saying. But no, seriously, it was so funny. Somebody on Twitter, like, I called Julian Edelman a role player, and they're like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me! A role player? Do you think?" They're like, "What do you think about Rajon Rondo? He's like Rajon Rondo." I was like, "Yeah, another role player. Awesome." Like, that's an incredibly apt comparison. Nice job.
Yeah.
High five, guy. Like, Julian Edelman, our good friend Arif Hassan, he had the best stat, and I retweeted it because it was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. But
Never been a Pro Bowler. Never been an All-Pro. Never been a Pro
Never.
Bowl alternate.
But he has
that
won a
alone
Super
should
Bowl.
be like.
He has won a Super Bowl MVP though, Jeremy.
Okay.
I mean, come
so
on.
he was good in
And
one
he's got
game.
all those rings.
He was good in one game. Congratulations.
But Arif goes, Wes Welker had more total yards from the slot and more yards per route run from the slot the year that Matt Castle was throwing to him than Julian Edelman did in his most productive year. That's about all you need to know about Julian Edelman's resume.
Wait,
like, if you go on Pro Football Reference and you look at his, like, similar players, all of those guys are like, yeah, like Darius Hayward Bay.
But are you sure that tweet was anti-Julian Edelman and not pro Matt Castle? Maybe he was making a point about Matt Castle being a Hall of Famer.
Well, now I'm looking at it completely different.
Oh no.
You mean former Lions legend Matt Castle?
That's right.
Can I pitch this to you? I might throw this on our podcast feed as like a hidden, not like as a separate track. I'll put it on like before, so it releases before the main podcast, so like the podcast stays up on top. But I feel like all these weird conversations, we got to preserve them for the podcast feed at some point.
No, they got to come here live. They got to put in the hours, the grunt work.
Oh, they do by downloading it and giving us money because they're listening to the ads by downloading it.
But I think my issue is that if they're like me, they listen to it at either like 1.5 or 1.75 speed. They're not putting in the same hours that our live audience is.
Not everyone's like you.
Well, they should be. It saves a lot.
I know someone who is a longtime listener who is still working. He is listening to every episode. He is working through a backlog right now, Jeremy. All these emergency podcasts puts him farther and farther behind. He's still in January.
Hey, well, then he will really appreciate it when it's the middle of June and there's nothing to talk about.
Yep.
Just wait till he hears our Brad Holmes podcast with what's the guy's name? God, I can't forget. The Athletic.
Vincent.
Vinny.
Right.
Yeah.
Vinny, yeah. Bonsignore, yeah.
That's going to be a pleasure to listen to now that I don't know, is he keeping up with the news? Or are we his news
he's
source?
keeping up, but he wants to listen to every podcast we do.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right.
He's just living in the dark. I love that timeline.
All right, let's get back to it.
Traded?
He still doesn't know.
Oh man.
All right, let me bring the recording graphic back up. We're almost an hour into this thing and we haven't even started our
I'm
second
sorry.
segment.
Yeah,
No,
I'm sorry.
It's all of our fault.
I was going to say it's Twitch's fault, but
It's their good fault.
And welcome back to the Pride of Detroit PODcast as we begin trade scenarios on day one. Run. So we're gonna divide this in two different ways because the what?
I don't know what that noise was.
It's the Christopher Nolan
Bwom. It's one of
noise. Brom.
it's the ominous swelling. You know, I think
Yeah.
what we need to do is we need to let everybody know that we were off air on Twitch for like 35 minutes. So that's why
And
that
we're all insane.
transition came back.
We are all insane right now between talking about Julian Edelman, talking about NFL Europe, talking about all of the money Twitch throws at Jeremy.
Just my mustache,
to keep
not
his
even me.
mustache. Yeah. Talking about the Broncos trade that was just wretched and awful. Those are all things you can catch if you are watching us live on Twitch. But we also encourage you to download the podcast because that's the main way we keep our lights on here. I feel like sometimes we have to juggle these things still too. Anyway, we're about a minute into the segment. Braun, let's talk about trade down scenarios because we have 2 on this podcast because it is 32 teams in the first round, in case you didn't know. And there's a lot of difference between the Lions trading down to, say, the back third of the draft to somewhere just above the middle. And I feel like, Jeremy, just to start, I want to start with the latter scenario because I feel like if we're looking at teams, you got to think about who wants to trade with the Lions, right? It's not just anyone. Like the Giants aren't going to be like, all right, we just want to trade with you guys because.
Right.
I think there's 2, maybe 3 likely teams. So where do you want to start? Because I know we talked about the names here. You can pick any of them that we've talked about. It's like maybe who you can start to trade with, because that'll set us up on where we're looking at for players.
Let's start with the baby step, I'll call it. And that's
baby steps.
The baby step to Denver. So just you're trading back to 9. Denver needs a
really long baby step.
Denver made a hilariously bad offer for Matthew Stafford. Maybe they'll make a better offer for, a rookie quarterback in this year's drafts. I do think it's interesting, and it maybe speaks to their continued faith with what they have in Denver that they didn't offer that much for Matthew Stafford, or maybe they just didn't believe in Matthew Stafford. But let's just say Denver, they get a little itchy-fingered when the Lions are on the clock at 7. There's a good quarterback on the board, whether it's Justin Fields or Trey Lance, or maybe they like Mac Jones or whatever. They trade back 2 spots to 9 with Denver. Now, in terms of the value of that, what the Lions could get in return, it's not a ton. It's probably like a 3rd rounder. So, I mean, that's not nothing. That's a potential starter. And to get that and not lose out on many players to pick, I think that's almost an ideal scenario, really. The question is whether Denver would do it. Whether Denver would really feel the need to jump Carolina, who doesn't need a quarterback anymore. They would really be jumping other teams that would be looking to jump, right? Like that's like maybe New England at 15, which is another team we'll talk about trading back all the way to 15. Maybe New England comes calling and Detroit's like, well, Denver, if you want a quarterback, you better call us now and give us a better deal than New England's got on the table.
And there's other teams with the for sale sign up right now. Like, I don't know if Miami will trade back again. It's not outside the realm of possibility in my mind.
Right.
But now that Carolina has picked up a quarterback in Sam Darnold, like maybe they double up on quarterbacks, but I feel like the for sale sign is up for the number 8 pick too.
Sure.
So like who knows if, what the Falcons do too. So there's a lot of pressure on Denver to find a dance partner.
Yeah. I think for me personally, the most interesting trade scenario is Washington at 19.
Taking us all the way down. All right.
Yeah, we can
Still
talk
in the
about,
teens, still in the teens.
Yeah, we can talk about moving back a little bit, but I think realistically, like you have one of these teams like Washington, like Denver. I feel like Denver is a little bit further away, right? Like
Sure.
Washington has a defense. Their defense got them to the playoffs in a terrible NFC East. I don't think the NFC East has really improved all that much this offseason. I mean, it's truly a division that's in flux. So if Washington says, hey, we have this defensive line that's great, let's go out and get a quarterback, even though they picked up Fitzpatrick, right? They got Fitzmagic.
Yep.
But again, by the same token, maybe Trey Lance is there. Maybe Justin Fields is there. There is an offer that was on Twitter the other day that some Lions fans poo-pooed on, but I was a fan of it. It was the 19th pick, the 51st overall pick, so Washington's first and second round picks, and then Washington's 2022 first round pick and their 2022 third round pick. Wow. I mean, yeah, moving from 7 to 19 is a huge leap back, and I think that, to be honest, I think it's like a day 3 pick away from being like a really attractive offer. But in summation, I think when we're talking about trading back, we're talking about the Lions continuing to do the rebuild the right way, and continuing to pick up draft assets, accumulate draft capital, and really just have, we say it all the time, but have as many darts to throw at the board as possible. I think that's what is most important in any trade back scenario, is that the Lions just accumulate as much draft capital as possible, whether it's this draft or it's the next draft, because we all know that this ship isn't being righted after just one draft. And especially with as few draft picks as the Lions have in this draft right now, as it stands.
Yeah, and the offer that you put out there, at the very least, like if you go in just strictly by the numbers, Washington would have to give up not only the 19th pick, but their second and third round pick this year. And you have to imagine they're probably not willing to give up all those picks this year if they're going to make a big splash like Lance. So yeah, maybe they dip into those next years and pick up a little bit extra than just a second and third. And I think maybe that's actually a realistic kind of compensation for the Lions, and not one I wouldn't shake my stick at, which then, I mean, we can jump right into the conversation there. Let's say the Lions accept okay, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just going to throw one more team in there because we did talk a little bit of the Patriots. I feel like the Patriots are like a good in-between spot between these two scenarios. Like I can maybe see the Cowboys come calling too, depending if you believe these reports that Jerry Jones is very strong feeling for Kyle Pitts.
I know line, dork.
Yeah, I know, but like, yeah, there's only one room in this pit stop for one car. But if Pitts is there at 7, and they're offering you a castle for 10, so they can get Pitts, like it's hard to turn down. But I feel like because there's a lot that New England could do by trading up, and there's a lot of pieces they need. And they've been aggressive this offseason, be it in the free agency, in acquiring new pieces, because I think they realize like they do need to get the ship back on track. And if there is a quarterback at 7 that they like, and if the Patriots come calling, I mean, I feel like 15 is a really good spot when we start talking about some of these names here in a second.
I think 15 is a really good spot if you want to start targeting defensive prospects, because I feel like
that's when a lot of the edge will come off the board, like Rousseau and Zavine Collins.
JOK.
JOK.
The one thing I want to say before we get into some more names is the trade compensation is extremely simple if you go with New England. If you go by the trade chart, their second round pick is almost exactly the compensation that's necessary. So it's not a huge haul, but you're talking about a mid-round second round pick. And so then the Lions will have 1 first round pick, 2 second round picks, 2 third round picks, and you're talking about 5 picks in the top 100. That's not too bad.
It's not too bad. I personally, for me, I think moving to 15 or moving to 19 is just it's too much. Like, it's too much for me personally, because I think once you take yourself out of the running for either Sewell or Slater, or you take yourself out of the running for Jamar Chase or Waddle or Smith, like once you get to 15 or 19, I think all those names are gone. So then all of a sudden now you're picking up a defensive prospect. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying personally, I would be disappointed because the Lions have the opportunity to finally plant the flag in the offensive line and be like, this is our unit. This is what we got, you know? And really personally for me, I think if moving back to 10, like with the Cowboys, like how, you know, Chris just suggested, if they're still at the point where Sewell and Slater are still there at 7 and the Cowboys are moving up to take a skill position player, maybe I'd roll the dice on that. But I'm becoming completely enamored with the idea of the Lions finally putting their stamp on this offensive line.
I could see Slater still there at 10. I think it's going to entirely depend on how the dice you talk about is basically going to be who are the Cowboys moving up to get, and in our scenario it's a skill position, but then you look at 8 and 9, right? And I think we can lock in the Broncos to either trying to get a quarterback or probably getting something to shore up the defense. 8's the wild card. But I don't think Sewell will last until 10, but I could see scenarios where Slater is there at 10. And that would be the ideal situation.
I mean, you might see a situation or a scenario play out where Slater lasts a little bit longer because teams view him as a guard more than a tackle. And you might run into that situation that we talked about in the first segment. But What do you got, Jeremy?
Well, I mean, there's a guy that could be available right in the middle of the first round that fits that offensive line need. That's not Slater. That's not Penei Sewell. It's Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech. I think that's right around the range in which, he could potentially go. I think he's like 16, 17 on PFF's board. He's right around there on Brugler's board as well. Played left tackle his entire career there, so the Virginia Tech Hokies trusted him for the blind side, and 95.6 grade from PFF last year. Guy has a lot of talent, and he only got better every single year. I think maybe 6'5", 314, so he's got some of the size that some of the Slater is missing at 6'3". So I think options are still there. It's there is a gap between I think those top two and him, but it's not huge.
Yeah, I would definitely say tier 1, Slater and Sewell. Tier 2, then all of a sudden that's like the start of where like Darrisaw kind of like sets the tier there at tier 2, because I will say the one thing that the PFF draft guide does mention is, it was a very run heavy offense that Virginia Tech runs. So, I mean, you're not getting a whole lot of film on him where he's being left on an island with a premier pass rusher. Like, everybody raves about Rashawn Slater versus Chase Young in 2019, where, he went punch for punch with him. So I wouldn't hate it. But it would feel like a little bit of a letdown, because it's like you might get Sewell, you might get Slater at 7.
So let me throw another name at you, Ryan, though. Because I feel like this guy could be there at 15 and still probably figures out what you want. He does both tackle and guard. He's more on the guard side, though, and I'm going to go back to my new alma mater with USC with Elijah Vera Tucker, who I know I'm reading the PFF grades right now, but he scores, I think, an 87 for pass block grade coming out. From where I've seen him mocked, we're talking Elijah Vera Tucker territory if you're looking at like 15, maybe 19 in this draft. Would you be happy with someone like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. I mean, you're looking at a guy who is probably playing on the interior, right? Like he's probably playing guard. He might not get a chance playing offensive tackle, but I mean, he is a guy who played, like you said, left tackle exclusively in 2020, played left guard in 2019, played right guard in 2018. So he's played all along the offensive line. Doesn't have the tape that Slater has, but if you're sliding back that far in the draft, I think maybe that's a guy that you could consider for sure. But the Lions have almost they've tipped their hand, right, by saying Vaitai is going to be the right guard. So it seems like the Lions need a right tackle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but again, like a guy like Tucker or some of these second tier guys we're talking about, or even Slater, seem to have the ability to do both. It's just a matter of where are you most comfortable putting them right now, or at least until you figure it out Vaitai, and then you probably move him wherever you want to put him.
Yeah.
So what about someone like the defensive guys? Let's talk about the defensive guys, because you guys mentioned it, like this is where the sweet spot, it seems like, in terms of taking the top guys, because not a lot of people are predicting any really defensive players in the top 10 necessarily. So who like, let's say the Lions go to the Patriots at 15. Who's a guy that you're like, get him? This is the time.
See, there are some guys who opted out. Like, I love Gregory Rousseau, but I also understand he opted out for 2020, and that might just be held against him. And kind of a question of what exactly you are getting in Rousseau. But I mean, we mentioned Kwity Paye earlier. There's so many different names at edge that you could go to. Hell, even still out of Miami, Jalen Phillips.
Yep.
Around to like there are at least 4 guys I've seen mocked in kind of the middle of the first round when it comes to edge, and that's like Collins, Phillips, Paye, Rousseau. I've even seen some people talk about Aziz. Let me try to get this name. Ojulari, yes, out of Georgia.
Yep.
Who I know he's just like a sophomore coming out, but he's a big man.
Yeah, I mean, or like I said before, I mean, linebacker. The linebacker's a huge need. If maybe it's more palatable to take Micah Parsons in here, maybe Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is your guy. I know a lot of Lions fans love him.
JOK is my love. If you've been following me every time I'm in for the mock drafts, I'm pounding the board saying JOK, JOK. Like, he's fantastic. I feel like he fits both the pass rush needs for the Lions while also helping to shore up that god-awful linebacker unit right now. But I almost feel like JOK, his draft stock is, I've seen him mocked as late as near the end of the first round, but I think his stock is higher than that.
Yeah. My name that I keep coming back to is Christian Barmore. And I know we talked about it on the Locker Room podcast, and Eric made a good point about, it seems like it's a little bit redundant because he would serve in a role very similar to Michael Brockers.
Sure. But
I can also see a future where Michael Brockers doesn't stick around for very long in Detroit. So, I mean, it comes back to the very essence of this draft, right, Jeremy? Is that the Lions approach in free agency, all of their acquisitions are short term.
Yep.
There's nothing very long term about this team right now. So I couldn't get too upset about the idea of a guy who literally fits the mold of exactly what they want from a defensive lineman. I mean, this guy, he's huge. He's 6'4", 310. His pass rush grade was 91.5. I mean, this guy, in the college football playoff, 12 pressures and 8 stops. I mean, when the spotlight was its brightest and its biggest, Barmore shined. And I love the idea of a big guy to solidify for a long time, a pass rushing guy along the interior, because when was the last time Lions had anything like that?
And Ndamukong Suh, pretty much. But I'm not against this idea. I mean, defensive tackle, you can argue about value here mid first round, but if he's a guy that can be, that good, even if he had a Michael Brockers type of ceiling, if he hits that ceiling, might be worth it. And who better to learn how to be Michael Brockers than Michael Brockers? I think he would be a perfect guy to help develop a young player. He's a high character guy. He's already, said to the media that, he understands his role as kind of a mentor, as a leader. I think there are only a handful of guys that you'd rather have as a mentor than him. And to have your first round pick have that kind of, built-in ladder to success, I get it.
Well, this was the exact same conversation and I mean, I shouldn't say the exact same conversation, but it shades of 2014 when the Lions had things situated, and they had Fairley as an insurance policy, but they weren't picking up his 5th-year option, and they had Suh. Well, let's pass on Aaron Donald and let's take Eric Ebron. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's nice to have a contingency plan, especially for a team that literally doesn't have a contingency plan at almost any position.
You heard it here first. Christian Darrisaw is the next Aaron Donald, according to Ryan Matthews.
Wow.
Very
hot, very spicy.
I would be shocked if Christian Darrisaw made the switch from offensive tackle to defensive
crap.
tackle.
Shoot, I got the wrong name.
Oh, man.
Don't flex on me like that. Don't flex on me that. How dare you?
All right, let's take a break. Let's talk about, I don't know how much you guys are vibing with the idea of going all the way back past 20. I'm already seeing some head shaking, but we'll maybe shoot it down and maybe talk some more names that we haven't as we continue along with the Pride of Detroit PODcast, wrapping up the shop here next.
No, that doesn't make Kyle Pitts Eric Ebron.
Wow. That's some goddamn slander right there.
All right. I'm a bit flustered, which is probably why I made that mistake. Zazu ate the rest of my peanut butter brownie that was sitting on my kitchen table. So when I got up,
that's chocolate.
It was mostly peanut butter. There were chocolate chips in it, but it wasn't a ton. So I think he's going to be okay. But yeah, I heard him making noises that I don't normally hear, and he was literally on top of a table. So now he is in my bedroom by himself with the door closed.
Thinking about the mistakes, the choices he's made.
Yes.
Who fell harder, the Matt Patricia-led Lions or Jeremy's green screen?
Yeah, and then when I got back, the green screen was literally underneath. The thing is, it's so close to me that my chair just runs into it. I'm touching it right here.
All right, well, this is awful. People on Twitch, do not request a Zazu cameo right now.
When we just said he's in timeout.
I'll do it. Hopefully he hasn't puked everywhere. But Knee Brace Radio, by the way, with the tier 1 sub, that is a podcast I just recently joined and talked with the fellows over there. So that was shout out to them for coming back and giving us some love. Appreciate that. Whoops, you don't need to see that. All right, I'm gonna go get the dog. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Yep.
I won't give you a topic.
I'm just seeing when the Tigers play. Oh man, guess what, Ryan? The Tigers are playing tonight.
Never miss a game.
Guns.
Mac Jones.
I work for Mac Jones. I have actually been very into the Tigers this year, and I don't know why, because they suck. But Akil Baddoo has been fascinating, and I love him.
He's fun.
That's a very fun start. You just hope he keeps doing it. I've been more into baseball this year. I just don't know what it is. I have a theory. I think that's because we've all been locked inside so much. The idea of watching people going to baseball games is very, very fulfilling.
Yeah. El Gato Diablo. How about that Mantha trade? Yeah, I'm so glad that the Red Wings were finally able to move on from that boat anchor. Here's the thing about Anthony.
Nope. You have to host the show now.
Anthony Mantha had all these expectations. The guy's never scored more than 25 goals. Like, he's just a pure goal scorer who never lived up to his expectations. And everybody's talking about, like, oh, it might be good for him to go to Washington. Well, hopefully he shows like he cares about playing hockey, because that guy, like, he was the embodiment of your controllers died and your player is just like coasting along.
That guy that one meme about Ovechkin.
Yeah. Well, at least Ovechkin scored goals.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it was.
I know nothing about hockey. Oh my god! I can't believe we do this. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add on the Red Wings. I haven't watched hockey in a while. Pistons are really exciting this year. Doubt. #doubt. Sorry.
Yeah.
I've been telling people, like, my love for NBA has been really bad this year, especially since Blake Griffin killed it more than
my life is falling apart.
Somebody said Jord 5K said more like the mean screen. Am I right?
Nice.
Hi guys. What's going on?
I'm not buying into I'm not buying into the whole NBA at this point, to be honest. Like, not to do old man shaking his fist, but like between Harden and Blake Griffin both sandbagging their ways out of teams, like, I get when guys are in bad positions. I still expect them to, like, play to the best of their ability, though. And it's clear, like, the NBA is like, we just don't care about that. And fuck you if you're a young, Houston kid who likes to watch James Harden, he'll go wherever he wants. And fuck you. And you better hope you land all of your draft picks and they want to stay in your city like Giannis did.
I think what's at least exciting about the Pistons is that they're doing this, like, homegrown approach where Troy Weaver, as general manager, decided, hey, I'm going to just build this roster in my vision. And I'm going to get rid of Luke Kennard, and I'm going to trade away. Like, Sadiq Bey's a lot of fun. I mean, through 50 games as a rookie, there's only been, I think, like 2 players, Luka Doncic, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head right now. But through 50 games, he has more 3-pointers than anybody else in, like, NBA history as a rookie. Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew. I mean, that guy is built for Detroit. And Killian Hayes just has to be healthy. So, I don't know. Pistons could be fun.
I will take back my opinion if the Pistons draft Evan Mobley.
They might play them. That's the thing that's so frustrating about the end of this season, is that the Pistons might play their way out of a top 3 pick, and that's going to be so disappointing. Jeremy, everybody wants you back.
Is it because you guys are talking about basketball?
We're sitting here talking about the Tigers and Red Wings and Pistons. Yeah.
Zazu keeps getting into trouble. He's acting out. It's Chat's fault for letting him out.
Yeah.
Way to go, Chat.
Jeremy, somebody said more like the mean screen. Am I right?
Did he just turn off his camera?
I'm just kidding.
He did.
Wow.
Chat. I'm gonna turn the Zazu request off in a second. All right, one more time.
Chaos reigns.
Zazu, come here.
Oh
Stop. Come here. You gotta come up. Come on.
This is
Zazu.
demented.
Oh! All right, first you gotta say hi to
This
Twitch
is
chat.
the definition of insanity.
Zazu, throw up on camera.
No. Don't do that. Wait. Leave it. Leave it.
Free the homie Zazu.
Leave it. Okay.
What else happened in the NFL this week?
Make the dog apologize on stream.
I wish they knew how to do that trick where like they put their paws together and do this.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
Did you watch the Masters at all, Ryan?
I didn't because I'm not that old
You're not
yet.
50.
Yeah.
I might have had Matsuyama to pick him. So
Nice.
Who's that?
LJ, the leg is improving. One of the bummers though is that I have to quarantine for 2 weeks
yeah.
because of COVID, so I cannot go to physical therapy for 2 weeks.
Oh, shit.
So that sucks, but
Yeah.
whatever. I'll try to get it accomplished on my own at home. And also for all the Goose cameos, I'll make up for it next time he's over here. I promise he'll be here this weekend. So
We gotta coordinate on which one of those are active at any given time. Because
Yeah.
like maybe there's a day when I need to also send you a picture of Ruby to use for up there too. So
Are you guys gonna attend a Tigers game this season? Probably. I love afternoon Tigers games.
I would love. I haven't looked at their West Coast swing schedule yet. I would love if they do come out.
They're in Oakland this week, aren't they? Or next week?
Yeah. They're very easy for me to get from.
Well,
LA
I mean,
to
I
Oakland.
assume that's part of a bigger West Coast trip.
Yeah. The only problem is they'd probably play the Angels, and Angels Stadium is just a bitch for me to get to from the Valley.
Yeah, that is true.
That's like a good 2-hour drive.
No, they do play the A's later this week, but no LA.
I am probably going to go to. There's been a lot of guys. I work with so many damn Dodgers fans, and there's been so much talk going to Dodgers games. Which I mean, Dodger Stadium is fantastic. Petco is a really good ballpark as well. I've been down there, but Dodger Stadium is just cool.
This is the last one. Last one.
Zazu looks like such an old man, but he's just in a young dog's body.
Yeah. He is kind of an old man.
He's got that cocked eye, like he's from like a DreamWorks movie.
Scratches, neck scratches.
Ruby hasn't moved at all from there. He is just loving the sun right now. Everyone requesting the Ruby cameos. He's right there, in case you can't see him. Got him on the tip of my paw.
Yeah, I bet you'll lick my hands.
I made those brownies and they were delicious, and I wanted to finish them myself.
All right. We done?
Segment? Huh?
I am
Yeah.
so flustered at this point.
Yeah, we've got him off his game, Ryan.
It's true.
Focus.
Oh my God. Lefty, no.
Did you request another one? We're done. We're not. I told you it was the last one, and I'm not giving you a refund. You heard me say it. There was something else I was going to say, or respond to, but I don't remember. IDOT, thank you for the follow. What's up, Elijah?
Uncle Indigo. Last one for Lefty or for everyone, Jeremy?
For everyone until the end of the third segment.
Give us Zazu or we riot.
Riot. Do it. Do it.
Riot.
Bring
then.
it on.
Riot.
Bring it on. Set my stupid green screen on fire.
Okay, like a young Kirsten Dunst. Bring it on.
Hey, yo. Alex Max Mateo 2020. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Pride.
Welcome to the Pride. Can we get the green screen to a pic of Zazu?
I mean,
you gotta redeem points for that.
That is a channel point redemption, is to change my background.
These are spirit fingers.
I'll do that in a second. I have to figure out what's a good picture of him. But if you want that to happen, you got to do it right now because we're about to jump into the third segment, and I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, like, so how do you want to? I know you guys aren't really up on doing late first round. So how much do you want to really devote to that?
We can make it a short segment. We've gone kind of long.
Yeah, we've gone. I think that last segment was around 17 minutes. Then we were above. We were close to 25 for the first. So
yeah, let's just do a little shorty. Lefty, what do you know?
Lefty, you're wasting all these points where you could be spending them changing his background.
Yeah, your local gulag is still 19.5 thousand short. So
I have 36,000 points, but you guys are going to have to bribe me with something.
One thing we can start doing, and I don't know if we can really do it during the podcast. We'll definitely do it on draft night. Is predictions, which allow you to gamble your own channel points.
Yes.
On a binary outcome.
What'd you say?
I did say the word gamble.
Ryan's awake now.
We also do that during Madden streams if we do a Madden stream, which maybe we'll do one shortly after the draft. That since we'll have like a regular Lions roster by then.
Plug in some people, yeah.
How much do I need for a new mic? Is my mic bad? Am I having issues with the mic?
You were a little hot earlier, but it sounds fine.
You guys can waste all the channel points you want on Zazu. He's not coming back right now. He's been a bad boy.
Sorry, I'm cramping a bit here, so I need to turn on a little bit of air.
If Fields is there at 7, do we take him or trade down? Talked about that one.
I mean, that's the $1 million question.
I'd prefer them to trade down. I think they're more likely to trade down, but there also has to be another half of that equation, right? Someone has to be willing to trade up.
I know Whitaker is all about taking a quarterback, but I think I don't share his opinion on Goff at all. But
oh, I remember the other thing I was going to ask. Someone was asking, maybe you guys answered this in the million times I was away already. Draft night. Yes, we are doing a live stream. 100%. All of night 1, I presume all of night 2, and then probably the first couple hours of day 3. We're still working out the logistics of that. Obviously, I'll be in and out since I'll be working on written stuff as well.
I'll be here for at least for all of day 1. Probably most of day 2 as well, because it starts earlier on day 2, right?
Yeah, I think it's 8:00 on Thursday and then 7 on Friday. I want to say, but that's
I might not be able to stay for all of that just because I have to work.
But yeah, I don't know who's in, who's out yet, but we'll have as much of the POD staff as possible, maybe a special guest or two. Ryan is in apparently, in his 2 thumbs.
I'm in. I'm there.
Chris is in.
I'll bring a third thumb if I have to.
Whoa. I don't think
we
can show that on Twitch.
It's genuinely I remember how many people we had watching last year. It's genuinely going to be insane.
Are we all going to watch Draft Day the day before? I literally looked for it on Amazon to see if we could do a watch party, and it's not on Amazon, unfortunately.
Oh, man. We've been meaning to review that movie for 3 years.
It's true. Just taking a peek.
All right. Let me turn down this thing, and we should really get going because I'm starting to overheat a little bit.
Go lay down. Go to bed. Thank you. You're going to be so sick today.
Is that mine?
It's your last one, chat. There he is.
No, it's next door. I've got the window open. Jesus. Marino would probably join draft stream if he wasn't so camera shy. Marino would join draft stream.
He's literally streaming right now.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
He's got to get his Valorant in. No rating him later, Jeremy.
Yeah, we'll have to see who's available.
Ruby's on, but she might be closing up. I don't know. She's been going for a while.
Right, if Papa Sig is still on, we're going to raid him.
Yes.
I don't know if I should give you Reno's Twitch because it feels like you're just going to leave and watch him. No,
don't do that.
It's twitch.tv/Alex_Reno.
I'm streaming too now, but
True. Wait, can I do shout outs? Does that work? Can't remember if I set up shout outs or not. I did. And then shout out at no decaf. Boom.
I don't know if I feel good with that name yet. Damn.
So the first one there is Alex's stream. The second one is Chris's stream.
Yeah, and I'm going to, now that I'm not working a 50-hour work week, I need help to make affiliate. I would appreciate it. Because I need to do a lot of hours and I need to keep like a certain average. So like I've got over 50 followers. I just need to put in the work. We'll play weeb games and talk about weeb things. And I'll probably play Mutant League football. And I don't know, my friends just got Outriders, so I'm going to play some of that too. Also, I've got my friend from work playing Valheim, so all over the place. Anyway, let's get going, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let me close this window real quick. Someone is vacuuming next door, and I can hear it.
Okay.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry, buddy.
I was looking forward to that brownie, man.
I remember when Goose ate, he ate a bunch of, it was like banana nut bread. Like he ate like half a loaf.
Jesus.
I had to give him peroxide so he'd throw it up.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. What happened?
Is that bad for him?
Nope. Nope. That's what I found out online.
Oh,
like
afterwards.
If a dog. Yeah. No. Like in the immediate, I'm like, am I gonna have to take him to the vet right now, or am I like, is there another way that I can induce vomiting safely? And they said that like you give him like a cap full of.
No, but what's wrong with banana nut bread?
It's just so much sugar in it. Like yeah.
No.
How am I not myself? Can we spend channel points in the future to change Chris's background? Yes, I do have the green screen. I do want to bring it back. It's just because the hours we work, the light is constantly changing because the sun's starting to go down at my apartment. So some parts of it like start to vanish. It looks awful. I need a light that goes directly onto it. So I need to get that taken care of first.
Can't wait. You're gonna hate it.
Good. I've done Ahagao face on it before.
I don't know what that means.
You should not Google it.
It has to be PG-ish.
It's absolutely not PG-ish.
Well, in order to be on the stream, it has to be.
Jeremy needs a nice 70s lounge theme for the background. Anyway, let's go. Because as I said, the Tigers are playing tonight.
And when else are you going to catch the Tigers? Oh, right. They got like 170 more games.
Jeremy, tonight. They're playing the Astros. I want to see them kick the Astros' ass. The Astros. Wrapping up shop here on the Pride of Detroit PODcast for myself, Chris Perfett, with Jeremy Reisman, with Ryan Matthews. I don't think we're going to go as long on this one because I can tell already from how we've been talking, you guys are not up on you. A trade back to after 20 would be less than ideal in your guys' minds. Am I right, Jeremy? I think there could be some guys there still after 20, like Rousseau, maybe some of these edge guys we were talking about. Maybe you see JOK fall that far. I really doubt it, but it starts to turn into projects after 20.
Well, yeah, it's that, and it's just like I feel like we're driving more and more into fantasy land here. The draft capital required to move up from, let's say, I don't know who's a quarterback like Pittsburgh. Let's say Pittsburgh is looking to get someone to be Ben Roethlisberger's.
Maybe the Saints. At 28.
Maybe the Saints. I mean, you're talking about a ridiculous amount of draft capital. You're talking about multiple first round picks at this point. or like a second round pick this year, a first and a second next year. It's going to cost a team a bundle to get up to Detroit. Are the Lions open to doing something like that? Maybe. The question is whether a team like New Orleans. I don't think a team like New Orleans, that would be smart for a team like New Orleans. They're not. They're on a verge of a potential rebuild given all the cap issues they're facing.
Yeah, and I think too, like, not to just turn these into poker pieces too, but I mean poker chips too, but like you still need someone to come out of the draft that can play, and the Lions need immediate need for players right now. So moving back, I mean, that's why I kind of look at the players first here, because like, yeah, maybe someone could give you a massive haul if they're trading back that far, but it's basically devaluing what you can do with that first round draft pick at the end of the day. Like, because we're talking about guys even in the 15s who were like, all right, you can come in and play right now, be it Rashawn Slater or Elijah Vera Tucker, one of these edge guys, JOK. I don't think you're going to get that at like 23.
Maybe not, but I'm not like philosophically. I'm still not that against into trading back into the 20s. We say it all the time. Like, this is all just about lottery scratchers. Get as many as you can, and that's even true. I mean, it's obviously less true of top 10 picks, but if you're talking fit like the hit rate of 15 versus 25, is it really going to be all that different? I don't think it is necessarily, honestly. And so if I can get an extra first and second round pick of it, sure. Is it going to happen though? You don't see those kind of trades, those huge kind of trades very often. They happen every 5-10 years or so, but like, I don't know. I don't see the Lions finding a partner in someone like Pittsburgh or New Orleans, because it would require a bounty, and I don't think those teams are in positions to pay bounties. Except for the Saints.
Well, Saints are always in a position.
Yeah,
to pay bounties,
I got it. What do you got, Ryan?
What do you want me to add to this right now? Do we want to start talking players or what?
Jump into whatever you want to talk about, buddy.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about some of the guys that might be there, like at the end of the first round. Maybe these are even guys who might spill over into the top of the second round where the Lions have a pick at 41. So,
sure.
I mean, either is really applicable here. So if the Lions were to trade back to the end of the first round, or you're looking at their second round pick at 41, these are the guys that I think make a lot of sense. Richie Grant is a guy I know we're really high on in terms of safety. Elijah Molden, a guy who, almost exclusively played nickel corner, which, no surprise, the Lions are hard up for one outside of Cornelder, who they have for one season. But Elijah Molden could potentially be a plug-and-play guy who could be NFL ready from the jump. Talking about maybe some of the linebackers, right? Like Jamin Davis or Jabril Cox.
David Collins.
If you're moving, if you're moving back that far, those are the guys that might be available. Now, the other interesting thing is if the Lions move that far back, all of a sudden, now you're talking about the tier 2 wide receivers that a lot of people are still hyping up as, first round picks that could potentially be
Rondale Moore,
Rondale Moore, Elijah Moore. There are quite a few players. Tony from Florida, everybody's second favorite skill position player from Florida.
Rashad Bateman, if he falls that fork.
Yeah, Rashad Bateman could definitely. I mean, I view him as definitely being the top of tier 2 in terms of wide receivers. Once you get past, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith. But I ultimately, here's what happens for the Lions at the end of the first round or at the top of the second round when they're picking at 41. I think while at 7, or even if they slide back a little bit, maybe they slide back to 7, 8, 9, 10, or 15, like really any position is on the board. I think like once the second round comes around, the Lions are probably looking for a guy who fits. Now, again, there's tons of positions to fit for the Lions, but I think maybe they start honing in on, positional value where it's like, all right, now it's time to take the top safety off the board, or now it's time to grab a linebacker. That makes a lot of sense because the Lions have a big need at that position.
Or now we prioritized offensive line in the first round. Now let's get a wide receiver to complement it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I don't know, Jeremy, what do you think about the potential of the Lions double dipping? Like, say they take a receiver at 7, say they get Jamar Chase, or say they get Devonta Smith or Jalen Waddle. What do you think about the opportunity that if Elijah Moore is there in the second round, that the first 2 picks the Lions make are both at wide receiver, does that make you a happy man or a sad man?
I'd be a little weary of that. It doesn't necessarily excite me. I mean the optics of it. I mean, it's still a lot of jerseys. You get 2 skill position players, 2 guys in the top 5 or top 10 of their position in the draft in your first 2 picks. I mean, I can see how that can be, spun as a win, but given that this team has so many needs, and I get that wide receiver is a huge need both in the immediate and the future. I'm not sure about using your 2 most valuable draft resources on that position specifically, though. I think it can be used better, and we constantly talk about the depth in this team's draft, or in this year's draft at the wide receiver position, and we've gone through a bunch of mocks on our Thursday mock show, and you can get talented guys in the 3rd and 4th round, and to spend all of your top 2 draft capital on wide receivers, that would scare me a little bit. That doesn't seem like wise use of resources, especially in this year's draft.
No, and especially with all the holes the Lions have to fill right now. I think something we figured out on our mock draft is like, there's so many different positions of need for Detroit that it almost feels like you're kind of doing triage at the top. So the idea of doubling down on a position, because when we were doing it, we were like hitting. This is kind of the flip side of the coin there, because we would hit let's hit defense now, let's hit an offensive lineman as much as possible, but then you'd get suddenly you're in the 3rd round and it's like, okay, now we want a wide receiver, but now they're all off the board. Or flip that around, we get the wide receiver, but then it's time to go and dip for a linebacker. And maybe in some of those mocks we kept picking Benjamin St-Juste, but for some reason he kept lasting a lot longer than I think Benjamin St-Juste is going to last.
Yeah,
but it just showed the problems of trying to get 3 starters for 3 different positions.
Right. I mean, yeah. Listen, it is the Lions' goal in this draft to literally fill every need that they have immediately. Every immediate need that they have. I mean, not really. I mean, it'd be nice, but realistically, 1, they can't do it with just 6 picks. 2. They're going to be weak in some areas. They're not going to be able to fill, and they're going to have to either grab some undrafted rookies, or they're going to have to hit, the 3rd and 4th stage of free agency and get some guys. Because you don't draft for immediate need. That's just not how you build a team. Certainly not at the phase in which the Lions are currently at. They're not in an opportunity at a place where they just need to draft for 2021. No, you're drafting for years down the line. So, getting 2 wide receivers is only setting that back, I think. At least early.
Here's the interesting thing, right, too, Jeremy, is that the Lions could potentially be drafting for immediate need and for long term when the Lions reach the 2nd round, because they need a safety. I mean, I know they signed Dean Marlowe, but I mean, they could be looking for a guy who is an immediate upgrade right there.
Right.
Dean Marlowe could be a special teamer and a depth player.
Yep.
He could be rotational. So that's where things get. That's where things get really interesting for the Lions, is that they're drafting for the future, but at the same time they're also drafting for immediate needs in a lot of places.
You still have to put a team out there for 2021, so you want some serviceable guys out there that aren't just going to get thrown to the wolves. But yeah, you're right in that too. Like with that, I think we all think the Lions could be back in the top 10 by this time next year as well.
True.
Hopefully the Rams are in the top 10.
That would be great too. That'd be fantastic. Doubling up. Just bang, bang.
Matthew Stafford throws for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. The Rams win 3 games.
He's just Pat Stafford. Rooting for that, huh?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
All the individual success in the world.
All the individual success, all the numbers, all the fantasy Madden points you want in the world. You know what? Maybe it's the defaults. The defense's fault this year.
Yeah.
Maybe the Rams just give up like 100 points every game.
Maybe they just want to move on from Aaron Donald after the season.
Sure. I know a team that has interest in him. My inside sources say. Okay, it's 31 teams.
No, you know what? Aaron Donald's going to go and host Jeopardy. Have we gone off the rails completely here?
Probably.
Yeah, we're done.
Hey, can I make some?
All right.
Can I make some show announcements for the podcast
Yes,
listeners?
let's do it. Hey, podcast listeners, listen up. If you're listening to this before the middle of the week, we have some big stuff coming.
Yeah,
Jeremy,
I'm
take it
just
away.
gonna spoil it. Like normally, I don't like to announce guest host or guests ahead of time, but I'm pretty sure this is confirmed at this point. Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, we are doing another fan Q&A live with running back Jamal Williams. New Detroit Lions running back Jamal Williams will be here live on our Twitch and YouTube channels, twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit, youtube.com/c/Pride of Detroit. He will be here. We will be answering questions. Chris is so excited to ask him some weeby question that
Real weeb hours here.
yeah.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and so that's going to be fun. And then we're also going to do a regular first bite. I'm not going to spoil the guests on that first, but this week we're going to have someone talk to us about the offensive players in the draft. So we're going to get deep into the prospects. Then next week we're going to bring another draft expert in to talk about the defense on first bite. So we are going to be chock full of podcasts over the next 2 weeks as we get you ready for the draft.
If you're not subscribed yet, you need to be, because we're just going to be filling your ear holes with all of this content, man. Like every other angle we can. And I really encourage you guys, we've been telling our Twitch chats during a break, you want to be watching us live during the draft. Put us on Twitch, put them on like a laptop. You've got, the NFL Network up, or ESPN if you want to watch Mel Kiper lose his hair. But, if you got a laptop, you got a phone, watch us live on twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit. It's our biggest live stream of the year. It was last year. We had, I think, Jeremy, like 1,500 people watching us peak.
Something like
A
crazy.
lot more than that for the full, broadcast, but like that was our peak simultaneous viewers at one point, which is insane. People want to see what happens, and that was with the Lions picking at 3. Lions are picking at 7 unless they trade back, but we'll be with you for the entire first round, and it's a celebration. We're going to have it on the podcast, but if you listen to that podcast, you know what a celebration it is, because everyone from Pride of Detroit shows up. It's the celebration of the year, because, the Lions aren't usually in the playoffs, so we just have fun with the other way you win, which is the draft. So any other notes we need to get to before we get out of here?
I don't think so. Take us away.
All right. Follow him, the Fearless Mustache, on Twitter at Detroit Online. That's Jeremy Reisman. Ryan Matthews, the Rock God, at Ryan_POD, where he stays winning on all of his gambling tickets. He only shows the winners. But guess what? They're all winners.
This is how
all
I
the time.
win.
This is how he wins. Yes. I need to come up with an Uncut Gems nickname for you next. Actually, that might have to become your drop now, to be honest. And for myself, find me on Twitter at Chris Perfett, PERFETT, where I kind of mumble a little bit. And as always, we're going to have some fun, guys. This is the best time of year. So stick with us. Go Lions. We'll see you next time on the Pride of Detroit POD And we're out.
We're not going to see a star side?
I'm trying to switch it up.
Okay.
I completely forgot how I was going to switch it up this week. But
all right.
Jerk. Go.
Go. We have an impromptu list cast redemption.
Oh, buddy.
What's it going to be, Marvin? What do you got for us?
I had a list cast idea on my Twitter the other day, and I can't remember what it was now.
Is it Jack Black related?
No, it's not.
By the way, I feel like I've seen a lot of new names fly by here on Twitch and YouTube. If this is your first time watching us live, we like to hang out a little bit after we record to just answer your questions. We'll talk about kind of anything.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a good one.
Okay, top 5 Lions players to host Jeopardy. Before we do that, do you guys buy it all? Like, I've heard way too many radio guys saying, like, oh, Aaron Rodgers, maybe he's ready to break up with the Packers. Maybe he could go host Jeopardy. That's like, A, that's psychotic. B, if you have a friend that tells you to do that, please smack them. Remind them that Jeopardy can be taped within like a 21-day period in the offseason. And Aaron Rodgers ain't going nowhere, as much as we'd like that.
I would immediately need a 30 for 30 on that. I need
for
to
him
know
to
every-
go full time to Jeopardy.
I need all of the behind the scenes at how Aaron Rodgers reached the conclusion that he's hosting Jeopardy instead of playing football.
I know this isn't the redeemed list cast, but at some point we should do a list cast for top 5 game shows, because I feel like we were having this conversation over the weekend, and I think a few of my guys at Fox Sports Radio were making the case that Wheel of Fortune is better than Jeopardy.
Wheel of Fortune isn't in the top 10.
Wheel of Fortune
Yes, it
is
is.
trash.
Oh, shut up! No, Pat
It's
Sajak is
trash.
amazing.
No, I've
I love Wheel of Fortune.
kind of met Pat Sajak, and I don't have anything bad to say about him, but I wouldn't call him amazing. Very spray tanned. I would call him that.
Apparently, so one of the guys I work with was on Jeopardy on an NFL Players edition of, not Jeopardy. He was on Wheel of Fortune for an NFL Players edition of Wheel of Fortune. And like the rumors about Pat Sajak getting sloshed while he tapes Wheel of Fortune, absolutely true. Yeah, absolutely. He even admits it, I think. But yeah.
What was I going to say? I don't remember. But
Well, let's do list.
Yeah,
do
let's
list
do
cast.
list cast.
Yeah. Okay.
So he
Talking
did say
right now.
of Lions players of all time. Any Lions player.
Lions players
ever.
of all. Okay. So that does change it up a bit.
Darius Slay,
Darius Slay.
Wow.
Lamborghini Field. I mean, like, what more entertainment would there be than having Darius Slay
Doing anything.
answering things just the way that Darius Slay could?
I want to dip way back in the Wayback Machine and go for the guy I always go for when you say all time. I'm gonna throw Alex Karras in the mix,
Okay. Already.
just because. I mean,
star of the screen.
yeah, why not?
The first name that jumped out of me for some reason is Chris Bealeman because he would
God,
be completely
yes.
out of his element and it would be hilarious.
Oh my god!
I can't
He's
think of
like,
someone
wait,
who'd
really?
be-
That's the answer?
Just him grunting the answers out is just hilarious to
Who
me.
was doing the? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name completely. Who was the guy? Who was the lineman who was hosting the talk show format?
Oh, talking with TJ? TJ?
TJ
Talking
Lang.
with TJ Lang.
I don't know. TJ Lang would get canceled before.
Wow, listen to you.
I mean, you see some of the things he says on Twitter. I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know if. I was trying to name the production company, but I don't know the production company for.
YouTube throwing Burleson at us. Burleson would be. I mean,
Burleson would be amazing at it.
Burleson's a shoo-in. Yeah.
Nate's a
Golden
great
Tate.
answer. Golden Tate would be fun.
Reggie Bush would be pretty good.
You love you some Reggie Bush.
No, I mean he's on TV all the time, so I mean,
True.
like he's good with the FS1 crew.
True. I'm trying to think of anyone else that really sticks out. I bet Levy.
Not Dan Orlovsky. Dano's in timeout.
I bet DeAndre Levy would be good at it, but I don't know if he would do it.
For the Dan Orlovsky shout out, would you rather watch paint dry or Dan Orlovsky answer questions on Jeopardy?
No, he presents questions.
This NFL quarterback
He presents
has
answers.
many character issues about his time showing up to practice.
Joey Harrington would be a good host.
Joey
Get
Harrington.
him out there with the piano. Like he could actually play the Final Jeopardy music on the piano.
I just picture him with
Did you
one of
guys
those
see the
like,
one-
harmonica stands over his shoulders.
Did you guys though? Like, I was loving the Jeopardy. Like when that one guy in Jeopardy did troll Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
On air. It was like, what is kicking a field goal in the playoffs?
Whose decision? I think it was.
oh
Whose decision was
who
it?
wanted to kick that field goal? Man.
Good question though. I like that. I'm
Are
gonna
we at
I'm gonna
our
continue
top
to think
five.
about
I
that.
know we're I'm still
Whenever we
thinking
do these list casts, we all just kind of throw out our answers.
Yeah, it's just a pile. Yeah, it's like whatever.
I'm taking Dan Campbell as a host of Jeopardy. Dan Campbell would be interesting.
Listen, man,
Trying to
that
think of current
gets me
players.
fired up, man. That gets me fired up, man.
I'm trying to think of current players. I mean, Jamal Williams might be an answer there too, but it's going to be an all anime Jeopardy. Jared Goff as your Jeopardy host.
No.
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 Okay.
No.
Okay.
We'd get to astronomy and he'd just be too confused.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's a horizon? Here's the other tough thing. I don't know a lot of the new Lions. Like, I don't know who Tyrell Williams or Brashad Perryman are
Right.
as human beings.
Well, that's why we it can be anybody.
It
Anybody.
can be anybody. Anybody.
Ashawn. Ashawn would just
Ashawn.
stare into the camera for 22 minutes straight.
Matt Patricia, self-proclaimed best Jeopardy host. Listen, I know how to host Jeopardy. All right, I've won Jeopardy before.
He bumped into Ken Jennings once, and so he takes credit for everything Ken Jennings has ever done on Jeopardy.
Who?
Oh, man.
Here's another good listcast question. Who would be the best as Chunky the mascot?
That would be Ashawn. Ashawn would be a great Chunky.
Yeah.
What do you do?
What do you do? I could see Ashawn just like grabbing someone's laptop and everyone saying, "Don't throw it! I just told you not to throw it!" Shout out to everyone who
getting some
watches Tim
people
Allen.
trying on YouTube trying to cast Vanna White, and it's not going well.
Oh boy. Nope.
Also wrong game.
Who would make a good just like announcer? Just the game show announcer. The come on down guy.
Oh man. Graham Glasgow.
Graham would probably be a good Jeopardy host too, actually.
All of the guys I'm thinking of who are Lions, who I've heard their voice, are all very calm guys, like Barry Sanders, Lomas Brown. They're not like guys who are just riddled with excitement. Maybe Nate Burleson again, but
Yeah. Nate just for everything. Nate for president.
Nate Burleson, best pizza delivery man on the team, probably too.
I think that's proven.
all right,
to
look,
be
I got
false.
your pie here, and we got some pepperoni on it. We got some sausage, looking awesome here, guys.
Crosby, the best hype man there is. Crosby is a great hype man when it comes to lifting people up, but I still feel like he needs to come out of his shell a little bit with the media.
Crosby would be great for like telling you that you're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
He actually just grabs you out of your seat and just lifts you up.
Like,
Come on down. Actually, I'll make you come on down.
like a fucking palanquin, or is that what it's called? Like that throne that you carry? You don't know what you're talking about. Javid Best. See, I remember Javid Best for running. I don't remember what Javid Best sounds like.
He wasn't around for
Think about that.
Carry On would be kind of fun.
Carry On would be good.
By the way, I don't know if I should be concerned or relieved about this over here.
He's asleep. That's all we need.
Zazu, are you okay, buddy? Okay.
Yep, he's okay.
If you missed it, he ate a bunch of brownies. Not those kind of brownies. Peanut butter brownies. And there's minimal chocolate. There is some chocolate, but minimal.
Molback doesn't want to talk, man.
Yeah.
Molbeck would be perfect if we were trying to cast like a like a judge show, like Judge Judy or something. Like Molbeck would be the perfect like police officer.
No, yeah, the bailiff. Yeah.
Yeah, the bailiff, either that or Ashawn Robinson.
Right. Or just what was Jerry Springer's little like security guy?
Oh yeah,
Steve. He'd be a great Steve.
He'd be a great Steve.
Do you guys remember? This is going to sound so stupid because my dad always had it on. It was on early Comedy Central. Win Ben Stein's Money.
Of course. Absolutely.
That was a good game
I
show.
love that show.
We're just we came around to wanting to talk about all the
Game
different game shows because we wanted to rank game shows. How many, Jeremy, if we were ranking game shows, how many of them would be Nickelodeon game shows?
Oh man, that's tough. I think I'd only make room for like one or two. In the top, we're talking top five?
Would it be Double Dare?
I don't think so. I think my favorite one growing up was Nick Arcade. It doesn't hold up at all.
Oh my gosh, Nick Arcade! It's just like you're so close.
Yeah, no one could
close.
figure out the
so
VR. I think Legends is a little overrated. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, it's Legends is whatever.
There's a whole roundabout
moments.
paying attention to a story. There's a listening comprehension part of a game show.
I can't respect. Oh yeah.
Hopefully you were doing well in school, because if you weren't, hammered on live television.
I think for me, it's like I remember watching Legend, and like we all harp on the 3 pieces for the Silver Monkey and everything, and that's one thing. But I just remember watching Legends, and it got so cheap where it's like, oh yeah, there's a guy here, and he's gonna grab you, and it's like okay, it's like I'm playing Dark Souls, except I don't have extra lives.
They got one extra life. If they get a pendant, if they get a full pendant,
that's true.
They get an extra
who
life.
All had the pendant. I have been watching in the studio late at night replays of old American Ninja Warrior, and it is hilarious to watch people embarrass. That and Wipeout and Holy Moly. I'm so glad America has finally entered the phase where we're just doing the Japanese game shows where we're just causing bodily harm to people. It rules. It's fantastic, to be honest. I love watching people eating dirt, especially Wipeout. Just watching someone just randomly getting hit with just a giant arm noodle.
We all need a little bit of that in our life.
Supermarket sweep.
It's up there. Up there.
I mean, Price is Right is still the GOAT, right?
It's just so versatile.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. It might be the best.
Do you consider whose line is it anyway a game show, or is that just kind of impromptu comedy?
Nah, that's just improv comedy. I don't think that's a game show. There literally aren't points.
Yeah, as I say, the points are all made up.
I don't know. I could go on forever, and I'm not going to.
I'm trying to think of some other stuff. Did you guys ever watch? What's the one with the bald guy? Howie.
Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal. Yeah, that was good. I still think actually, you know what? I know what I'm putting at one with a bullet for any of this thing. It's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
That had its moment.
At its moment, like you would see in local newspapers. Yeah, we all got local newspapers. It would be like on the front page, it's like this guy is at 500,000 tonight.
True.
Like people did huge parties to watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
That was at like the height of game show popularity, I feel like, because
100%.
right around that same time too, like Weakest Link was something that I watched a lot too.
Yeah, Weakest Link was about done by that point. Yeah,
I think Weakest Link is a better game show. I think it's an interesting concept because it's almost like it's a mixture of a trivia show and Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's interesting.
I just like the drama on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I also liked that was Regis Philbin probably at his best on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it also gave me Slumdog Millionaire, which is a fantastic movie.
It is. That is true.
So yeah.
What was the name? So there was a game show based on The Prisoner's Dilemma. I can't remember what it was called. It didn't last long, and it was on. So like, was it Split or Steal or something? Something like that. So like, basically, like these two people get to this final round where they have a choice. They can either split the money that they win. They can try to steal it. Or, yeah, that's it. Those are your two options. But if they both say steal, no one gets any money. If they both say split, they split the money. If one says split and one says steal, the person who steals it gets all the money. And just that, like, watching the two people, like, they give each person a chance for, like, a 30-second spiel of, like, I promise you, I'm going to split it. I need you to say split so that we both walk out of here with money. And then just, like, the backstabbing that happens. And it's, like, I think the most satisfying ending was when they both said steal and no one gets anything. Because you're just like, yeah, you rich assholes. You greedy assholes, you get nothing now.
I'm sorry that I broke that up with my weird habit. I just opened up my tweet deck and someone had PK Subban's injury up there. So,
no, what happened to him?
Don't need to see that.
Yeah, you don't need to see it. It's grotesque.
I'm gonna look it up because I'm curious.
Apparently there was a game called Golden Balls that was like that, but that's not the one I was thinking of. Anyways, Press Your Luck was obviously amazing. That was one of my favorite as a kid as well. Card Sharks, also classic, pretty good.
Yeah, I think we're hitting the point where it's like I didn't last in game shows too long because eventually I just watched people playing poker. I'd be up all night with nothing else to watch, and there's only 3 things up there for that. It's either A, it's like watching my DVD of Master and Commander for the 30th time. B, watching Law and Order SVU marathons. Or C, watching Poker Night in America or whatever kind of poker show was on at like 3 a.m.
Dr. Detroit says the dating game was the bomb. I was just thinking, this isn't the dating game, this is the Newlywed Game. I was thinking about it, I think I was talking this with Reno, like, that game was literally designed to break up new couples.
Yeah.
You'd have these newlywed couples on the game, and they'd ask the meanest, most misleading questions. And I was watching something that had, like, it was like some piece of media that had the Newlywed Game on the background. And they're like, if your wife was a boat, which part of the boat would be taking on the most water? And I'm just like, you sons of bitches, what are you trying to do to these people?
Okay, what does that even mean, though?
Like, fattest, I imagine. It's so mean. It's so mean.
I interpret that as like which part of you're just not able to like, you know, it's like, okay, she can't clean or something.
Well, no, but the thing is you'd have to answer in a boat analogy. So it'd be like her starboard, your poop deck. Or...
No, I recognize that, but it's, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go eat dinner.
Sorry, we're probably out of control here anyway. So
we are.
No, I like being out of control. Are you kidding me? So
we're past the 2-hour mark. We don't normally hit the 2-hour market. So
bye, Ryan.
We should probably get ready for rating. But everyone say goodbye to Ryan.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Ryan. Thanks, everybody.
So for those again who missed it, we are having Jamal Williams in the podcast, and we have secret guests to talk about the draft later. Both are going to be on Wednesdays. I think.
Yep, 3 p.m. Eastern time for Jamal Williams. The other will be kind of our
TBD,
our
TBD.
Prime time-ish,
yeah,
kind of thing. 6, 7, 8, somewhere around there.
Yeah, all sounds good.
All right, let me check my raid button, see who's live.
If Papa Sig's up, that's absolutely mine because he stopped in my stream the other night and said good things.
Dang it, he's not still streaming.
Yeah, I might stream. I don't want to stream later today. I'm exhausted, but I just did 4 overnights in a row. But tomorrow I will be streaming. We've put up no decaf. Please stop by because I'm going to start marathoning, and I can't let Alex win. Pretty much.
All right, we have 2 options of people that I would like to raid. 3 actually. We can do if there's Michigan fans in here, we could do Maize and Brew. They're doing a podcast right now. So
Michigan.
If you want to talk some spring league, I think they're probably talking a little bit about that. We can do Alex again, or we can do our friend Mrs. Ruby. And let me see who. So she's one of our favorite streamers. She's just got a really awesome community. Doesn't have anything to do with the Lions. She's making
wholesome
food.
Person. Very wholesome person.
Very wholesome person, and she's making pasta.
It is almost dinner time. Let's get our people hungry. Yeah.
So I will leave it up to you guys. Those are your 3 options. We could either go Maize and Brew, we could go make some food with Mrs. Ruby, or we could go raid Alex.
Just thinking of food. I just pulled down a steak from the freezer. I'm so ready to eat a steak tonight.
And if I don't get an answer in the next 5 seconds, I'm just going to pick Maize n Brew because we haven't done.
We haven't done Maize n Brew yet before. I'm in favor of that. I'm
Yeah?
in favor of that. I need to rejoin their. I am in their Discord. I actually need to go hit them up at some point.
All right, let's do that then.
By the way, I know he hasn't stopped by yet, but shout out to Baltimore Beatdown, who's been streaming quite a bit, and I know he's doing like speed runs.
Nice.
So, I think he's gotten pretty well in the speed runs in For Honor.
And you know what? Maize n Brew's, their outlay is already better than ours, so go compliment them
Yeah,
on that.
we'll work. I'm working on it. I'm working on. Let's work. We're working on that.
All right, so join us again Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Jamal Williams Q&A. You get to ask the questions, so bring some questions. We'll have a good time, and then we'll have some more draft talk later that night. But until then, go have fun. Go say go blue to our friends at Maize n Brew. Give them a follow. They're just trying to kick off their Twitch stream. They need a little bit of help, so let's go help them out. We love our Michigan sports fans, people. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye. All right, I want to see what their layout looks like.